Good morning, everyone. I had a bit of a problem to connect this morning, and I'd love it if one or two of you could tell me, yes, we can see you, Christoph, it's all good, so I can relax. I've already seen some messages come in, which is a great relief. Somehow my picture didn't go live, but I can see myself. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Because I don't want to talk to myself, that's for sure. Great to be together again this morning. I think this is the ninth Sunday since lockdown started. I'm beginning to lose count, and we'll talk about that a bit later. So first of all, we will just say hello. Please say hello if you are part of this virtual coffee. It would be nice to just know we are together and who's with us at this time. You can do this on the chat feature, which is built in right here in YouTube. You can text me, you can WhatsApp me, or you can send me an email, which is rector@denhamparish.church. And several people say, yes, all good now. I had a shout from upstairs from Edda saying, I can't see anything. And I said, I know, I'm trying to fix it. So we are back together, and I'm so glad that you are here with me. So let's have a look at some of the greetings we've already had from you. Keep them coming. And then afterwards, I want to talk a bit about moving from short term to medium and long term as we go through this incredible season, this unprecedented season, and how we can be lights in this world in a reality that is so massively changed. So that's coming up in the second half. But now let's look at the greetings. Amanda's here saying good morning to everyone. Joe is here. Bill and Caroline are here. Let the light shine. Absolutely what we need to hear in these strange times. Thank you for a lovely service, and love to all our friends in Denham. Thank you, Bill and Caroline. Jane, another beautiful service. Thank you. Sally is here. Hello, everyone. Thank you for another lovely service. Joe, loved Let the Light Shine. Just what we needed. There is a theme emerging here, which is interesting, which is in effect what I want to talk a bit more about in the second part. So that's good, isn't it? Laura saying, Christoph and Edda, thank you for the lovely message of congratulations. Laura and Steve, another round of congratulations. I can't believe it's been 3 years since you got married. I had the privilege of conducting your wedding at St. Mary's. And if you want to see a photo of their wedding day in front of St. Mary's Church, go to our website and click on weddings, because they allowed us to use their photo for that. Great to have you with us today. John is here. John and Beverly saying a very good morning all from Beverly and John. Colin, good morning. Jane, happy belated anniversary. Stephen, Laura, indeed. Kath is here. Good morning from the Soul family. Thank you for the Try Praying resources. Oh, Kath, have you already received them? It sounds like you have. You know, we have some great people who help us because we're not leaving the house. We're in shielding measures, who are in effect our postman and postwoman. And so this morning, Edda actually sent off some of the Try Praying resources for the children and young people in our church. And it sounds like, Kath, that you've already received them, which is amazing. Dion is here. Good morning. Lovely service. Thank you, Dion. And by the way, thank you for your and Andrew's review of The Little Prince. If some of you were here a couple of weeks ago, they volunteered to write a review for our next Denham Parish News. Download Denham Parish News if you haven't done it yet, and then please send the link off far and wide. If you are on social media, if you're in a WhatsApp group, if you have email groups set up for your friends at this time, just say to them, this is my church. We've produced this magazine especially for this time, and I'd love you to download it. It's full with helpful stuff. So do that, because we can't give physical copies to people at this time. But more about that next week. We are printing a certain limited print run, and then we'll see how we can also get those paper copies out. Anne is here saying, hello everyone, another lovely service. Chris says everything's okay now. Good, I'm glad. That was when I was struggling at the beginning. I'm catching up now, I hope. Good. Everyone says they can hear me, which is a relief. Kim is saying good morning. Chiwendu says hello. Dion says hello. Bryony says morning all. Robert is here. Christiana is here. Good morning. Yes, I can see you. Pete is here saying good morning. Robert is saying, and Mary. Important, isn't it, Robert? Thank you for thinking of the fact that both of you are watching, which is great. Victoria is here. Good morning, everyone. And she says, lovely prayers from Sam. Indeed. Thank you, Sam. Robert says, I need to adjust my camera as... Are you serious, Robert? Are you toying with me? Robert is saying he can't see the top of my face. Is that true? Well, I hope someone else tells me you can see my whole face. I'll just lift it a bit anyway, just to help you, Robert. Is that better? I hope. Amanda, great singing from the three girls. Yes, wasn't that amazing? Edda, you've just been officially promoted to the status of girl. How do you feel about that? No, it's a great song, and it's been so good to have Rebecca and Charlotte sing. Did you see that? They've got a very well worked out technology. They were listening to it on a smartphone, I guess, and they had one earpiece each in their ears so they could listen to the song together and sing along. Great technology, Rebecca and Charlotte. Anthony says, church tour, great again. And the lighting up of the stained glass window sounds fantastic. Got to see that at some point. Thank you, Anthony. It's one way to stay connected together and also to learn more about our main church building, isn't it? And I just had a message from someone last week said, I so appreciate that someone makes the effort and chimes the bell on a Sunday morning. It's a reminder, isn't it, that God is alive. He is among us, and the people of God are still alive and active as ever. And the church, in a sense, symbolizes that, and especially when you can hear the bells rung, or maybe when you pass it in the evening and you can see that wonderful stained glass window lit up at night. Kathy says, good morning, everyone. Lovely to hear Charlotte and Rebecca sing. Great voices. Brian, hi from Heather and Brian. Christoph and Edda, you are one shining light. Thank you, Brian. I tell you, this morning I did not look like a shining light. Edda can vouch for that. I was a bit groggy and grumpy, but, nice cup of tea and one of our homemade breads with raisins in, especially for Sunday, sort of fixed me. And then the joy of worshipping together and meeting up now. Robert says, my bad, just sorted out our end. Good, I'm glad I can dip the camera a bit again. Nothing missing at the top. Edda's saying, Kath, it's all down to Kim, the amazing Wonder Post woman. Thank you. So, Kim, your cover has been blown. Kim loves going out on walks in the morning, and she helps us deliver things. Great. So we keep going, and then I look at some of my other channels of news where other people have said hello. Joe says we see you fine. Edda says forever young. So Edda has accepted the label of girl. Well, she's my girl anyway, but enough of that. Otherwise, I'll embarrass Edda too much, which I don't mind for a few moments. Kath, yes, we got the books for the kids this morning before 7:30 a.m. Someone was up early. Well, you now know who that someone was. Thank you, Kim. So much appreciated. Alex is here. Well done, Alex. Lovely service. Thank you. Johnny, thanks for the church tour. It is great. I hope the balance is right. What we're trying to do with the church tour is give you a bit of history, but also give you a bit of a sense of, as you know, what the symbolism and the meaning and the function of the different parts of the church are. We've done the obvious bits, but there are other bits, so we're working on new parts of the church tour as we go along. Sally's saying, I think it's wonderful that the church lights will be on to show the stained glass window, 9 to 11 p.m. Beautiful. And Ian says, morning, everyone. Welcome, Ian. Good to have you with us. Yeah, that idea actually emerged a couple of months ago, several months ago, before lockdown. A member of our leadership team said, wouldn't it be great? It's a shame when you pass the church at night that you can't see this window. by the way, that window you can't see full stop unless you walk up into the ringing chamber, because of course when they built a new organ in the 1980s, that sort of closed off the view out the west end of the church when you stand in the middle of it. So even inside the church during the day, unless you walk upstairs to the ringing chamber, you can't see the window. So that member of our leadership team said, wouldn't it be great to put a big floodlight in there? And that's what we've done on a timer switch, so we can see it at night. Brilliant. So, Brian, trust Brian to ask, isn't there a song, My Girl? Yes, there is, Brian. Sandy is here. It was particularly encouraging to see Edda's passion for prayer. How lucky we are to have Edda, and what an inspiration you are. Hear, hear. And I believe in this season, God wants to teach us to pray, wants to lead us into a deeper prayer life. And I'm the first person who says, I need to deepen my prayer life. So this coming week is such a God-given opportunity. Don't miss out on it. Look on our website at some of the resources, or make up your own structure for that hour. We have combined it. Let me tell you that now. I'll tell you again next Sunday. A simple pattern of prayer that we've taken from the 24/7 prayer website, especially focusing on this coronavirus season. And we've combined it with Thy Kingdom Come. Thy Kingdom Come is a prayer movement that was started in 2016 by our two archbishops, the Archbishop of Canterbury and of York. And it has since spread to, I think, more than 100 countries at the last count. To set aside time between Ascension Day, which is this coming Thursday, and Pentecost Day, which is traditionally a time of prayer for the Holy Spirit to come. And we need the Spirit to transform our communities, our world, more than ever. And one of the focus areas, just to already get your head in gear during that week, will be for all of us to sit down and prayerfully reflect about 5 people you want to consistently pray for. Put their names down so that they would know the love and grace of Jesus, either for the first time in their life or in a deeper and in a new way. And then to faithfully pray for them. So in that hour of prayer, if you say pray every day from Sunday to Saturday, there will be a certain order, but in the middle we'll have a special input from a lovely booklet from Thy Kingdom Come with one focus, a short Bible reading reflection, and thoughts how you can pray into that. And then pray for your 5 every day. So that's the plan. Don't forget to log on to our sign up page. Put your name down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 days during that week. Before I look at the other comments here on YouTube, I have promised you to go to other places. WhatsApp, some activity on WhatsApp. Dom and Vicky are here. And they say, really liked the service. They definitely shine like a light every week. Where can we read more about our church's history? So good to hear for you that this coming together to worship is like a light in your week. Brilliant. Where can we read more about the church's history? Well, there is a short version which we offer to visitors in the church, which I may have on a PDF. I'm not sure. I have to ask our expert Robin Doran, who's been looking after that. Actually, that's a good point. I will make a note and see whether Robin has a Word document of the wording of that. And then we could actually offer it on our website. So that's one port of call. I did a condensed version of that, which is the basis of our virtual tour, where I try to bring out some of the spiritual significance of the church, its architecture, its furniture. That I've got on PDF, and I can send that to you, which is a bit of a summary, or you can wait for the next virtual tours, although the virtual tour is an extended version of that reflective tour. And then there are books. The Authorities by a former rector of St. Mary's, written in 1904, about the history of the church and the village. It was the Reverend Lathbury. And it's a big book, and there's not many copies left. So I don't have a copy of that, I'm afraid. There's a photocopy of it in the church office. And then there was a book written by Hazel Harries, who was a member of this church, for the millennium. And she condensed it and updated it because there was another 100 years which had passed since then. and she describes the history of the church building in there. Quite technical, but it's really helpful for me now as I do these virtual tours to gain some insight. And then there are these lovely little booklets that were created over the course of the last 70 years or so by different authors. I quoted from one of those this morning. And over the last years, people have just said to me, oh, have you seen this? Have it. And so I've got a little growing collection of church histories, which I draw on from for the virtual tour. We'll look at the text messages. We had a message from Louise. Great to hear from you, Louise, saying, what an uplifting time of worship and such a great reassurance that we have someone called to be alongside us. Thank you, Namdi, for this wonderful reminder. Jesus is leaving his disciples, but he's sending the advocate, the counselor, the comforter, the helper, who's with us. Any other thoughts you've got on that message, please keep them coming. And then for the last 10 minutes or so, we'll be talking about how we can be shining Jesus' light in the world in a time of coronavirus. I'll just check my emails and then we get back to the thread here on YouTube. Caroline and Clive say they can't be with us today, but send their love. They have something else urgent on a Zoom meeting. Thank you for letting me know. Many blessings for you. Joan is saying, I am with you, in brackets, virtually. Brilliant, Joan. Lovely that you can be with us. Adrian and Eileen saying hello. Great that you were able to be with us. Thank you, guys. Lovely actions by Edda. They were good, weren't they? Really good actions. Singing the message of that song into a whole body, in a whole being. Faye has emailed saying, lovely service as always. So happy to be able to join you. And we're so happy, Faye, that you are with us. And yes, Steve, you are so on the button. Steve has just emailed me a photo of the church history that I've just been mentioning, the church history that was written for the millennium, and that's by a lady called Hazel Harry's 1,000 Years in a Village Church. So I've got a copy of that, and you now know that someone else, Steve, has got a copy of that as well. Brilliant. Well, we'll go back to our thread here. Any other thoughts about the message today? And then how can we be lights for Jesus in a coronavirus world? I'll give you an introduction to that in a minute. But first, I'll see what other messages we've got so far, because they've still kept coming in. Ian says, church tour reminds us of the beauty of the church, and focus on pulpit and lectern was wonderful. Thank you, Ian. Kim says, I'd love to hear the story of the churchyard as well. There seems to be a lot of history there too. There is. And of course, the story of the churchyard is, as was the conclusion of that little booklet, the story of the faithful people in Denham who lived in the faith, who died in the faith, and whose memorials, whose headstones, whose places of memory remind us that as Christians, we have hope. A churchyard is a place of hope for Christians, because it says these people who died in the faith will rise again when Jesus returns to judge the living and the dead. And don't forget that this judge Jesus is our advocate. So several more votes for lighting up the church being a good idea. Thank you. Anne, here you go. Anne says, Kim, I watched you on Sunday Club last week. You're a natural presenter. Lovely. More, please. It's good, isn't it? Sunday Club is not just for people who still got children at home. You can watch it because it gives a different slant on the same theme. So go away and watch it. It's only about 8 or 9 minutes, Sunday Club. And we've got such a great Sunday Club team. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Edda. And as you've seen over the last weeks, now we've established a routine. We bring the other Sunday Club leaders into the sessions as well, which is great that they're happy to lead a session. And Edda's saying, so special to have Kim last week and Sonia this Sunday, the body of Christ in action. John is here. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm a little late this morning. I enjoyed the service. Thank you. Good to see Bill and Caroline's message. Well, John, you can reread all the other message so you get a sense of what we've been talking about here in the live chat. Sandy, Edda says, Sandy, thank you. She has a passion for prayer, yes. Lots to learn, though, and putting into practice. And she's looking forward to learning and growing together with the whole church. So let's, for the last 10 minutes, as we started a little bit late, look at this question I was already mentioning at the beginning. And it is this. The first verse of our Bible reading is, if you love me, keep my commandments. There's, by the way, a lovely anthem. I don't know whether Mark is watching us in Singapore, but I was thinking of you, and I would have loved to sing it, but I thought I couldn't pull it off without you, Mark, singing bass. If ye love me, keep my commandments, or in the slightly more up-to-date version of the New Revised Standard Version, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. I went to a really good webinar this last week. It was on leadership in the time of coronavirus. And what the presenter said is, we are at a juncture now. We know that this new world we suddenly are facing will not just be for the short term. So we are on the transition from short-term leadership to medium and long-term leadership. And there are opportunities, but there are also dangers that we get stuck in short-term mode. Let's just get to the next Sunday service. Let's just get to the next urgent thing. When actually the world is changed for good. The church will not be the same. And I read another really good book over the last week. I just started reading it. All of us have a sense of, we just want to get back to a sense of normality. You will have heard many people say when they have hit a crisis, I just want to get on with my life. Well, the sobering message of these last weeks and of the messages, the projections for the future is, the new normal will not be like the old normal. And that's, for some people, frightening and threatening. And it is a challenge, but it is also an opportunity. So my question to you, and I've already seen one or two answers, is, if you love me, keep my commandments. How can we be the people of Jesus in the world, in this new reality? How can we shine the light of Christ? Many of us are restricted in our engagements, at least physical engagement. Many of our normal structures and meetings have stopped, and we're trying to make up for that. But I've said several times to Edda over the last couple of weeks, something I really miss is the occasional encounters in the normal run of things. Walking through the village, at all our various events and services, catching a little chat with someone at the church door. All these things have fallen by the wayside. And I don't want the church to become a YouTube ghetto at this time. So how can we be the light of Jesus in the times of coronavirus? I'm not going to give you a talk today because I am struggling to process that question, as all of us are. We are debating that question and reflecting on it in our leadership, our cockpit crew, which is the standing committee of the PCC, and in our PCC meetings. And we say, God, show us how we can be the city on the hill in a time of coronavirus. And that's another prayer request, please, for our prayer week, that we listen to God and say, God, how can we be your light at a time such as this? That's my very long introduction. And for the rest of the session, I just look forward to listening to your thoughts. And then I have a final little quote, and then we're done. Jane is saying, so many of the body of St. Mary's Church are already shining God's light in the community and within the services in so many different ways. God has given our church so many gifts to share. Thank you. What an encouragement, Jane. Thank you. Let's keep doing this. Anne says, loved Namdi's reassuring message. It illuminated something new for me. I don't mean trying for business class. Great for you. I had that upgrade once. Yes, indeed. But the message brought it home, didn't it? That nobody had an advocate. It took you through all the issues and hurdles of getting on that plane. Jesus is that advocate, and not just so we feel safe. He's also that advocate to help us to be the city on a hill at this time. And we need to pray and think hard and be creative to be that in the medium and long term. Just checking whether there's any more messages on the other channels. Nick and Michelle, say hello. There you go. I think you're happy to read that to us, aren't you, Nick and Michelle? I'll read it anyway. They're saying they're having hairdressing lessons, both of them this morning. If you see us in hats next week, you will know things have gone wrong. Well done. Well done. I hope it's going well, your hairdressing. I'm coming up definitely for another haircut, so brace yourself, Edda. I need your help for that. And Michelle and Nick say, lovely singing, getting better each week. Thank you so much. And I don't think we've had... Oh, brilliant. Kim says hello from the Isle of Man. Kim used to live in Denham Village, and it's so brilliant that you're getting in touch, Kim. Kim says hello. We have finally returned to our home on the Isle of Man after a 1-month journey following repatriation from Namibia. So lovely to join your service, which I will now regularly virtually attend, as they will help me as I now go into 2 weeks of self-isolation. Welcome home, Kim and Neville, and so lovely to be connected in this way. What are your final thoughts here on YouTube? Oh, thank you, John. John, here's a real reason to pray, to get on our knees, John. And everyone can read this. I'm not going to repeat this to camera, but please read John's message in the chat here on YouTube. Let's pray. Let's pray for safety, for healing. Chris is saying, back to the theme, like ourselves, many organizations are starting to think what the new normal might look like and how they can adapt to that and be their best in that. I wonder if we could have a conversation on Zoom to chat about that together. Chris, I think that's a really good call. I've been just thinking after the webinar, we need to get people together who have a real heart for the mission of the church, who have a creative mind and who realize the new normal will be different from the old normal. So Chris, I take it you are signing up for that Zoom group. And if anyone else says, this is a theme I want to grapple with, maybe with half a dozen or so people on Zoom for an hour over the next couple of weeks. Not in our prayer week, because I want you to focus on prayer week after next. I would love to do that. So please let me know, send me a little message saying I want to be part of the, let's call it the new normal Zoom group. And that stuff we can then feed into our PCC, into our leadership in our ministry team, and we can pray about. Say, God, here are some of our thoughts. Would you help us to home in what's of you and what you want to bless? Because without him, we can't do anything. Brian is asking, any word on when churches might open, at least partially? Brian, I'll say a bit about that in a minute, but it's great to see that Sandy has already signed up for our Zoom group. Brilliant. Keep the offers coming. I will write them down now, or send me a little message after this virtual coffee. We're nearly out of time, Brian. I'll just quickly summarize. I know no more. I tell you, I'm a bit crumpled this morning. Need a bit of tea. I know no more than what the experts say. What I've been finding difficult in this season, I've said it before, is that the presence of the church is nearly airbrushed out of the news bulletins. So when Boris Johnson said we're looking at partly reopening schools from the beginning of June, and then from the beginning of July, if the curve goes down in the right way, from the beginning of July to open up other public spaces such as pubs, restaurants, cinemas. It would have cost no more than 1 extra second to say, and places of worship. And very kindly, someone sent me the small print after Boris Johnson's message, and it says exactly that. So places of worship at the moment fall in the category of bars, restaurants, cinemas, etc., which is at the earliest at the beginning of July. But as I said, as we've already said many times, the new norm. Just because we might be able to open up the church building does not mean everything goes back to how it was. That's all I can say at the moment, and we're working out initial plans of what that might look like, and your thoughts will be so appreciated. Jane says she'd like to be part of the new normal group. Brilliant. Thank you, Jane. Sheila is here. Well done, Sheila. Welcome. So good to have you with us. So lovely to be connected. Let me finish with a quote, which is not from the Bible. There are other good books out there, as you all know. But this is a particularly good book. I'm slowly making my way through it. One of my resolutions when I went into shielding measures for 3 months was to finally read The Lord of the Rings, the book. It's got 1,080 pages, I think. I'm nearly through the first of the 3 books. And quite early on in the book, there's a great quote, which seems so apt. In fact, since I've written it down, I've read another article at least, which has quoted exactly this bit. And it is this. This is Frodo and Gandalf speaking. If you don't know The Lord of the Rings, Frodo is the ring bearer who needs to take it to the place where it can be destroyed forever so it cannot wreak havoc anymore. Gandalf is Gandalf the Grey is one of the wizards, a good wizard who is, you know what? I'm just thinking about that. He's a little bit, you can read the book allegorically. Gandalf is a bit like the advocate. He's his helper. He's his comforter. He's his encourager. He's his counselor. He walks alongside him on his quest. So this is the story. This is a conversation between Gandalf and Frodo. I wish it would not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf, and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. On that note, let your light shine. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you for being part of Virtual Coffee.